Hi, everybody.
I'm not logged into Twitch
Oh, okay.
because I hit something weird and got rid of the chat window and I can't figure out how to undo it.
Oh, lovely. All right. Well, we're live. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Okay. So, yeah,
Are people there? Do they see us?
I think so.
Do they?
I'm watching in my not logged in browser and no, it's not live yet.
Really? Oh, man, it says we're live. Hmm. Well, this is a problem. Oh, it says yay. So maybe it was a delay. Is it up there now?
I can hit reload.
And then, like as always, I have to ask: Is there a? Where's the? How do I get to see the actual
I'll
stream?
send you the link.
Oh,
Yes, okay, apparently they say it's up.
Yay. Okay. Yeah, a little along with everything else being delayed or twice
thank
delayed.
you,
This is
thank you much.
I'm not doing the starting soon or any of that stuff, and not really even going to go too much through the script. Got a bunch of stuff to talk about,
We're just going live.
and we're just going directly live. That's it. So here we are. Okay, so guys, I will do this is Shroud of the Avatar. We're a free to play role playing game. You can find us at shroudoftheavatar.com. You could directly download the client and play for free. You could also download the client for free from Steam. Most of our players actually do the direct download. Not a lot of people use the Steam nowadays for some reason, though it works just as well. So, and you can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/shroudoftheavatar, or facebook.com/shroudoftheavatar, or at our website. We have forums that you could follow through the RSS feed. And there you go. That is the boilerplate for the moment. I gotta find where my little mini script is because I'm not really doing the main script. Live streams, blah, blah, blah. Okay, there we go. Blah, blah, blah. So we do have some prizes today. If you are in game, only in game, you can type swooning June. Is that right?
Yep.
Yep, swooning June.
Swooning, like
Yeah, like June,
Oh,
swoon in June, that type of thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, swooning June. 2 words, uppercase, lowercase, doesn't matter. You could type that in any chat, universe, party, guild, whispers, whatever, and it will enter you into the raffle for the prize drawings. And or if you want, you can go and purchase something on the website. We have Kodos for sale up on the website, extra bank slots, things like that. So if you want to support the game, you could buy something, and otherwise,
episode 2.
you could go ahead and just say the phrase in there.
One of the other things on the website is episode 2. That'll give you access to a bunch of higher end scenes and a whole other skill tree that you can only get in those places.
Okay, all right. So housekeeping, we'll do that first. Uh, every so often, we have a little bit of drama going on in the player community. Yes, a player was just recently banned. I guess yesterday, right?
Yeah, yesterday evening.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything worth banning at first. He got a 24-hour timeout. He was banned because he then went to the forum with a complaint about it.
Yeah, which went
Rather
yeah,
explicit.
yeah, right. Which of course we killed right away. But and anyway, this I think that's where we're going to leave it. Besides, I don't think the his identity made it to the full public, so we don't talk about that. But you guys will probably figure out who it is and everything. But will definitely say that a subject that had come up circling around this, not the issue, but one of the things, one of the topics that was discussed about this was against autoplay. or about autoplay rather. Yeah, playing with any type of macros or automation is against the rules. So if you're caught doing that, then you will get either a suspension or a ban. And bans are permanent. There is no coming back from a ban, period. You know, you definitely don't want to do that stuff. And apparently the player was giving out misinformation. I believe that the community itself corrected that situation, the understanding of it. But obviously, we want to just say that officially that reconfirming you don't want to be doing that. So, you know,
Ever.
yeah. So anyway, the information for all that is actually in the community TOS rules on the forums, and you know, have a read there. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of you know, to support at shroudoftheavatar.com, and we'll be happy to give you further detail if there's confusion about any of those things. So I think that pretty much covers the stuff, except to say in general, be nice to one another. You know, especially be nice to new players. We have new players coming in. The game is gaining traction, so you know, players are the lifeblood. New players are even more so the lifeblood. You know, be nice to people, and if somebody's irritating you, there is full facilities in the game to block them. You could ban them from your town. You could block them from your chat, so you don't have to deal with those people. So that is the method to do it. Saying your mama is not the right thing to do. So, yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
If you allow yourself to see their posts and you can't keep yourself from responding, you are responsible for how you talk to them, even if they're the instigator.
Yes.
Exactly. So, anyway, that's the housekeeping stuff. So, you know, we're all adults here. Let's be good. So that way we can move forward and not have this type of drama that wastes our time. Damn it. All right. So anyway, let's see now. We will have 2 prize drawings at the end of this hour. And if we go on beyond that, there'll be 1 prize drawing per hour. We're not intending to go do a marathon stream today. Definitely have a lot of stuff going on. So I'll start off just by saying that we had to delay the release by a day, actually entirely because the game server had a little bit of a fit, and I had to drive down to Austin to whack it in the head and get that back up and running. So as most of the veteran players know, I've been dealing with infrastructure stuff actually for about 3 years, and we are definitely way farther along than we have been in the past. But over the last couple of months, I've been paying a lot more attention to it because we're at the point where I'm going to get ready to change out server hardware, virtualize things, and you know, basically optimize the infrastructure that way. Just by doing the cleanup, I've actually freed up a ton of hard drive space and got some of the processes onto better, faster machines, juggled things around. Sadly, sometimes based on the age of the older machines, which only have USB 1.0 on them, it actually took 22 hours to extract the image of one of the servers off that to virtualize it and stuff. So this stuff takes a lot of time doing all that, and of course that requires me to. Some of it requires me to be on site in the data center to do. So, for instance, I was there all night last night. I got back here to Scottie's house at about 6 in the morning and went to sleep right away, intending actually to try to get up by like 10 or 11 a.m. With the intention of going back down to the data center. But I got up at 1 or something like that. And we did a we did or I continue to work on the stuff remotely here for to the degree that I can, and I'm actually pretty close to finishing what I'm trying to do. This is our mail server that needs to be migrated. Long term, I need to replace it and sift through all the extra infrastructure that was there from the previous companies that ran the game. But for the moment, the quicker fix is to get it the heck out of the data center and virtualize the stuff and reduce our footprint and that neat type of thing situation. So anyway, with all that said, I've been working on that, and of course, every step I take, I'm hit with another gotcha moment because this stuff is really ancient. But definitely making progress. I have one last thing to sort out with the mail server, which the mail server is currently down because I'm working on it, and it'll be back up today by 6 p.m. Oh, well, actually, no, it's 6 p.m. now. It'll be back up today by the time I leave, I'll just say. Or go to bed.
Yes, I've been seeing errors every 10 minutes because there's a report that wants
Yeah.
to send an email when it runs.
Yeah, sorry about that. But basically, our mail cache, it'll mailbag the stuff for I think 72 hours. So anybody who sent us emails, they'll still arrive. At least it's the theory. That's how it's supposed to work. And so I'm not really in any danger of losing anything. And based on our 10-day turnaround policy on customer support emails, I'm not too worried about that. So some receipts for purchases or whatever may be delayed, but again, I'll have that back up by the end of today. The meaning like midnight or whatever, whenever I finally give up on it, if I can't get it to finally work, and then I'll have to probably come back down here next week. Yay! So anyway, and again, you're probably thinking it's like, well, why is this so critical? Well, the data we're actually using too much power in the data center, and I need this box is for those of you who know 5U. It is pretty much as tall as this monitor. Actually, yeah, can you see my monitor? It's like, am I doing that type of thing? But yeah, you can't. So it's as tall as like a 32-inch monitor type of thing. It's huge and it sucks up a lot of power, and it's not technically needed. So it's my target to. I've been reducing things down, and that's the next thing that needs to go, and that's going to bring our power consumption down to a safer level. And that's a longer story that I'll probably just ramble on for in one of our developer streams when we're doing work, which we did a really good one last month, and I want to keep doing those. So once I get past this mail thing, then I could basically get back in and start showing you guys things about what I'm doing. Which leads us into the actual topics that other people can participate in now. But I will say that Andrew Night Owl wants to know, Scottie, if your room is a mess because you made it that way or if it was my fault.
Oh, honestly, though there's a lot of stuff along the walls and all over the place, the room is more of a eccentric collection than it is a mess. Let's put it that way. I do run out of room on shelf space all around the house because of little gewgaws and gizmos and wacky stuff that I collect. So yeah, it's certainly not Steven's fault by any means.
Yeah. If anything, I'm trying to help him to get migrated to the new machine that he's sitting at. Usually he's over there.
Yes.
So yeah, and anyway, but and just like my room is a mess right now because I got the new hardware to go into the data center. That when we're all done, will replace half the servers that we have. And I just need to get some time to actually work on that.
Time.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
The
I've heard of
resource.
this. So let's see here. So we have a couple of topics. I'll just highlight the topics right now. So dungeon work, we'll talk about that. The Lord of the Isle, finally, I'm going to finish that damn thing. Get the Lord of the Isle basement done. That's the last deliverable I have. And then also Birch Island is on the table. And of course houses. So we'll be talking about all this stuff today. Let's see. All right. Is there anything I'm missing, Allie? I think that we're on track here, right?
Yeah, that seems about right.
Okay, good. All right, so I guess I'll start off with dungeon stuff. I'll give you because this isn't secret, but it's like I haven't had the time to do the live stream portion, so I'll give you guys a glimpse of this if I can figure out what I'm doing there. Turn on Unity. Yay! There you go. So here's Unity. That shield there is one of the old shields, and it's part of the Update the Textures project. In game, this thing doesn't look anywhere near like it does in here. So this is just happened to be the last thing that was on my screen.
Yeah, no, I can vouch for that. In the game, it looks like for some odd reason, because of the weird quality of textures having been too small and a bunch of other things that were not, and when I say too small, not authored too small, but applied in such a way that for the sake of what we thought were savings at the time, all the stuff that gives it dimension became too small for it to effectively keep its nice sharp edges. So the item in my game, like when I look at it on my screen, because I haven't gotten the changes that Steven's doing right now, it looks like a weird, puffy, poorly baked cake. That
inflatable shield.
Yeah, it's like an inflatable shield.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
It's like what? So it's crazy what texture updates will do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and this is it. Nothing was changed here except for optimizing the textures and refining them. So now you see that this was it's actually a wooden shield that has stuff on the surface that's painted with a metal frame to it, and the frame is indeed actually flat on its edges. It's still, it's a very rough shield. I still call it like the lead shield because it looks like the metal's lead to me.
Yeah, it's pretty crude. The metal's meant to look crude. It's pretty, it's still a little cartoony. Yeah. Maybe?
Yeah, a little bit. But, I mean, it's not bad. Let's say this in the editor, the lighting is different, so, it's not. And I think I noticed that the texture filter on it is still set to white, not that gray that we usually do. Brought down to the gray. So it's a little bit brighter than it.
So it's a little overblown in light quality.
Yeah. So anyway, that's these are refinements that could be done, but
to put in my 2 cents, I would rather us get back to the status of saying that when things are authored and put in there, they're always in that neutral gray, because what that does is that gives us the ability to go brighter or darker if we wanted to touch it or do things to it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's a few items I've had to turn to the white is no filter. For you guys, it's a little vague, but basically on the textures there's settings, actually it's in the material, but be technical.
Well, it's what it's really doing is it's pointing at the vertices. It's saying that I'm going to export this thing, and when it's brought into the game, all the vertices are receiving 100% light, meaning that the light that they're getting is pure white, as bright as white can be. And that doesn't really leave it room to go anywhere else further brighter. So it's like, it leaves us no freedom. So if we do something right in the middle, 128 instead of, let's say, 256, which is pure white, or whatever, 255, white. So if you go 128, it's right in the middle. And that means that shadows can affect it nicely, and brightnesses can affect those vertices nicely. They can receive more light. Oh, sorry. I'm looking that way. I'm looking toward where I think the action is. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi. That's where the camera is. Hi.
That's okay. They can't see you.
Yeah,
Anyway.
right now they see my Unity anyway.
Oh, okay, good.
I was just saying. I was doing it quietly pointing.
Yeah, he was quietly pointing like, oh, they're looking in your ear canal right now. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, all right. So let me see here.
Sorry.
So, Hemnu asked if Ravalox knew about bundles, maybe, and yeah, as we start going down the path with the houses and stuff, we have plans for what we're going to be doing with that, which could include bundles. I shouldn't even say could. I think we already discussed that there will be some bundles in there, but
Yeah.
So we need to get past the row house stuff. The row houses, of course, won't have any bundles, but the plan for that is actually to put up a pick one. So basically, you'll go up there, and this is going to be on the website. This is not going to be in the Crown Store in game. It'll be up on the website, and this way I could have greater flexibility for stream sales during streams and stuff like that, and all sorts of other stuff. But we'll, as we get there, we'll talk more about that stuff. There'll be two items up on the shelf, as it were, in the store. One will be classic row houses, and then there'll be new row houses. And so the classic row houses will be the existing row houses that we're repairing, right? So we're fixing all the bugs and everything. And as you guys know, we put out the 2, 3, and 4 story wooden plaster row houses that are, as far as we could tell, completely fixed, and some minor improvements as far as, obviously the texture. I updated the textures. We fixed the LODs. I mean, these things have been rebuilt, and I'll let Scottie talk about that. That's more his area. So I don't want to take that away. Go ahead.
I haven't gone through and done the fixed needs testing pass for the bug forms yet, but please, if you have one of these original wooden plaster row houses, go through it, throw the kitchen sink at it, try to find bugs.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
And these are the ones with the red roofs. The ones with the orange-looking roofs are the next ones we're going to be doing. Those, I think they should be coming out at the end of this release, but we have to take a couple of peeks at that because, of course, we're working on other stuff now as well, which we'll show.
But hence why it's important for the testing, right? Because if we can test it and other folks can test that the fixes I made are everything that we wanted and more, then what that leads to is not just me going through and then making sure that if there are other versions of the row houses who only have, let's say, textural changes that need to be made and use the exact same geometry, then I can hopefully very quickly fix the next set, right, that just needs the textures change out. And in addition, I can also then use what I have fixed, now that we know that it's as fixed as it should be based on testing, to then create the very next version that is different from the one that we have, from a standpoint of I'm going to take what I have, I'm going to then fix stuff, make the things on the wall not stick out as much unrealistically. I'll be possibly adding some stuff, polys. I might be shaping some things, all that kind of good stuff.
I put the camera back.
Oh, you put the camera back? Yeah. Okay. So all that kind of good stuff, and then I'm going to make. My plan is to make a new version with extra cool stuff in it that we can sell as a separate entity and a new looking house.
Right.
And I have some cool ideas for that. I have some thatch roof kind of different style cottage sort of looks that I want to play with, and that gets to happen once we test the fixes I made, because I really want to start off with something pristine.
Yeah, exactly. So as I said, once we get there, the classic, the pre-existing row houses with their pre-existing floor plans will go into a single entry that'll say classic row houses, and then when you make the purchase, you'll get a bag, a pick one bag. So then you'll be able to choose which row house you want, and that makes it easier for that type of situation. I don't have to list 100, because we currently have 198 houses in the game. And obviously
And we're
this is
just working on the row houses now, have no not the Duke houses.
so obviously this effort is going to increase the number of houses. So I don't need to have a website that has hundreds and hundreds of houses on it. So this way all the row houses are going to be the same price. So you just click on it and then pick which one it was that you wanted, and then. The new row houses will be another entry, and so whether it be like you said, thatched roof, or literally it's the red tiled roof, or what was it? A shingle, red shingle roof with the wooden plaster that we've now fixed that has new floor plans or other changes where. Like the ridiculously thick windowsills are gone, things like that. Those are things we can't fix on the existing houses because your deco will literally stay where it is and float in midair. So with all those refinements and changes, they will be new houses. And we're not going to do. I'm going to say, don't worry. We're not going to just go in there and say, okay, well, we made the windowsill's smaller. There you go. There's a new house.
No.
They're literally going to be all those fixes to refine. Like if you go up the stairs on the row house, and then you make the turn and you got that first landing room, and this is pretty much on all those things. That wall is like 3 feet thick. I mean, literally, it's maybe about 20 inches, 18 inches thick.
Yeah,
but
wasted empty space.
Wasted in it. Yeah. So we're just going to bring that down to what a normal wall should be. So that's one thing right there. You'll gain more floor space. The front room is too small, so that wall will move. And then there'll be another version that won't have the wall at all. Things along those lines. And we're putting all that together. But once, as Scottie said, once we know that all the bugs are fixed in the base model, then it's easy to go in there and actually make changes and not worry about anything else that we might have to go back and touch again. So
changes, additions, new features, all that kind of stuff.
Right, and this is why the bug brigade is really important. This is segue. I'm going to go into Arterus. That's all there right now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So I'm loading into Arterus, and of course I got to stall on that one a little bit. But so it's very important that anybody who wants to. Or is inclined to test bugs and let us know what's going on the forums. Reporting bugs is definitely not a problem. Just check to make sure that somebody hasn't reported it already. And if you have new information, then add it to the thread. Not just a me too, but if you have something that's not already been said in the thread that might help us identify a problem or something additional about the issue. Let me hide. I have to go back to the game now.
And Andrew, yes, I agree. Secret spaces under stairs are fantastic, and that is one of the things that we could possibly do to new row homes.
Oh, yes.
That we can't do to just the fixing the old ones.
That's right. And in fact, we specifically talked about secret spaces and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Right. I'm going to slow because I can't remember the name of things.
No, it's right there in front of you, literally.
Is it? I thought it's right there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm just saying that. Why can't I slow? There we go. I just didn't know. I was going to take the boat initially, but I don't remember the name. That's one.
Dock opposite East Road.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, did I add in the thing, or did I forget that?
It still says dock opposite East Road.
Sorry. That I was.
We had discussed it. We hadn't decided.
Oh, okay. I thought we did. So that was the idea there. We'll figure it out. I won't go into that more. If we decide not to do it, then it'll be a thing. We added a row house here down by the dock. So as you can see, that's the main entrance, right, to the town, the main bridge.
Yeah, that main bridge.
Yeah. So you can see the orientation. It's just down here, and this is the Bug Brigade Recruitment Center.
Yep.
And of course, our main offices are in Brecon Bay, but.
Right. All the rewards that are available in terms of deco, not all the pets and not all the VFX, but all the static deco is placed in this house. It's also placed in Brecon Bay, but people don't go there except for once a year for the Bug Brigade party.
Right. Yep.
So this is something that people will see in the lot list of Ardoris and come look at and see, oh, hey, that's a nice painting. How do I get that? And then they will read that book that's right next to the lamp.
You mean this book right here?
Oh.
And we'll tell them that there's a brand new slash command that you can do in-game, and if you do that, it will open the forum post that has all the information on joining the Bug Brigade and what you get for it.
Let me see if this works. Wow, it does! Let me see, is this going to show up on screen? Oh, it's showing up in the camera, that's weird. Right.
You're welcome, Hamnu. I was actually surprised that Keith got it in, but apparently that he felt that he had just enough time.
Yep.
What did you get in?
Yeah, wait a minute, what would Keith do? Oh, the...
Lightbringer,
Isle?
Retreat?
Oh, Retreat. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Pot.
A second town.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, so, oh, you're not supposed to see that. Oh, dear. Okay. So, let's see now. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So yeah, this book will tell you about the slash command. Slash command, just like slash bug, opens up a browser window. And of course now it's totally not hidden, and let me get my mouse over here and bring this back up. So, again, you're not supposed to see that. Go away. Alright, there, better.
Rises, the prizing word is always in the release notes that are on the main website. For this stream, it is Swooning June.
Yes.
And I would type it for you, but I'm not logged into Twitch right now, so someone else I think will have to take up the slack.
And that's swooning
Yeah.
June, not swoon in June, right?
Right.
Swooning. SWOONING.
Yeah, like June is swooning.
June is swooning.
Or June is for swooning.
June is for swooning.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
right. Force swooning.
Yep. So I wanted to show you guys that we had put the house over here. So we've basically taken over this little area and
the dock next
including
to it.
the dock. So and these are all rewards as well.
Yeah, the insect leg table, the 3 butterfly chairs. I put some fireflies out.
Yeah. With the new umbrella. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, so where was I going on about the other stuff? Oh yeah, so anyway, we ended up talking more about the houses that I really was intending to at the moment, but dungeon work. Let me bring up Unity again, and show you. This is a little preview on what I've been working on. This room is immense. And it's taking as long as it takes to build a scene, or a zone, for those who are not familiar with scene as vernacular. So, basically, you'll recognize this somewhat, I think, as the minecart foyer for the player dungeons. So I basically took that footprint and I made a custom floor for it. And all that stuff that's around that red is going to be filled with lava. So you'll have a nice, huge lava lake to fish in. And this room has no less than 8 entrances, and it will have more. But I'm just going to say no less than 8, because there's probably, there's at least 9, but again, not going to reveal some of that. There is some surprises for you guys when you get the room. So for instance, this one I could explain because it doesn't really make sense that there's this thing here without an explanation for it. So we'll have a trough of magma or lava coming down, and then having a little bit of a waterfall effect going into the pool on either side of that. and there will be lava tubes feeding this. So the backstory, even though I know previous devs didn't like putting backstories in for things along these lines, I do. So the backstory on this is that whoever made this room when you guys discovered it had basically wanted to control the amount of lava that was in there. Maybe they were breeding this coelacanths, who knows? So a lava tube was actually passing through here, and this was a natural cavity. Of course, the walls that you're seeing right now are really not what the walls would look like. I have all the rocks currently hidden, so when I gotta, those rocks are the size of the current minecart foyer. So this room is bigger than the minecart foyer. So there you go. How about that? So anyway, I gotta place all that. So it'll all look like a natural cavity. There might even be some lava dripping from the ceiling. You never know if I could get that to work. But point being is that somebody had gone in there and created a lava duct system to prevent the lava from overflowing the cavity completely, so that way they can control the lake level. And
a small unrelated interruption for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Alpha fish stick. Fish sticks are supposed to be deep fried.
God.
So this is where I am right now. It actually took a while to make this custom floor, but it was actually revealed some new technology that we could use, which, if everything works right, will appear in this room when it's done. Which again, I'm not saying anything because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but I suspect I will.
What's the red? I'm not seeing it easily. Not the lava in the channel, but that stuff on the ground. What is
so
it?
Basically, what this is when you have a magma flow or a lava flow, outside of an eruption of a volcano.
Yeah.
And then as it cools, it gets that black crust on it, but then there's still red glowing through it.
Oh, that's representing the underglow inside of the crust. So to
exactly.
speak.
What I did is I set up the texture to have an emission on it,
we must never use the phrases crust or emission in the same sentence ever again.
Okay. It actually, the way it works out is that the red only shows up on vertical surfaces when you drag it down to be vertical.
Mm-hmm.
So that literally makes it.
Also, it's like the moss that you put on the stones.
Yeah, exactly. It's that type of thing as well.
Yeah. Andrew Night Owl, yes, he is planning a water version.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. In fact, the way this is being built and everything, the lava will literally just be replaced with water. The room will be identical otherwise. And, of course, spawning versions are inbound as well. So, as you could probably imagine, I don't need to keep this a secret, the lava room, any of the lava rooms, will have fire elemental spawns, and the water rooms will have water elemental spawns. So
nice.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I've been working on for the dungeon rooms recently. Not to mention, and this is actually one of the things that's kind of cool, that one of the long-standing bugs with the dungeon rooms is that when you move from room to room, the lighting does some wacky stuff. Kind of like it has to sync up
several seconds and then updates all at once.
Yeah. So I think I found the solution for that. I've started out by updating the brown marble? The brown marble foyer, I think that's the name of that one.
No, it was the white marble ballroom that I first.
Well, yeah, but
hey, there's something weird about the lighting.
Right. But what I've done is I updated because I needed a foyer. I wanted to have a complete thing. So I updated the brown marble foyer one and then the white marble ballroom and the blue marble pool room. Those three rooms, completely rebuilt them. What you see here on the side of this is called the hierarchy, and so I had to rebuild all that and restructure it, redo the LODs on it, which is the level of detail files. So basically, as you get farther away from a thing, the game draws a less detailed version, so that way it's not trying to do everything all at once. And that this makes it so you're not drawing all the finer details of a bow that's on the other side of a scene or the other side of a zone. So anyway, with all that said, the LODs were not set up correctly, as with a lot of the stuff in the game. And so I went through it top to bottom through the whole thing for all those rooms. So not only will the textures be optimized and the LODs will be fixed, and then the lighting thing, in theory, will be fixed as well. I still need to do a little bit of testing on that. But the initial results are promising. So that's the current dungeon room update, I think. So, yeah, that's what I'm working on now. And of course, all of the stuff that I just talked about has to be done across all 154 or whatever the number is of the dungeon rooms that we have. So all that has to be done, in addition to creating new dungeon rooms still that are missing, like connection pieces to be able to connect the blue marble to the brown marble to the dungeon stone to the ancient stone, and so on and so forth. And then,
staircases.
And staircases. And eventually there'll be a dark stone, basically a lava set, really, is what it is. You said the lava rooms that I've made, the grotto and the lava pool room, and then this extra large room, are all using a darker version of the ancient stone, which is meant to look like it's either stained by soot or literally is carved out of volcanic rock, that type of thing. So let's see here. Okay, yeah, so that's that. So did I just see an Askadev go by? Okay, so yeah, there's an Askadev asking if these rooms will be purchased on the Crown Store. Yes, these rooms will definitely be purchased on the Crown Store. Which
is actually going to be a break from our tradition of having the spawning rooms be loot drops.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, is that how it was done before? Spawning rooms were always loot drops?
Yeah, they were always loot drops.
But because they were generally made from existing scenes in game, and so that's where you would go to get the blueprint and recipe.
Yeah, exactly. And this one doesn't exist in the game that way. I mean, we'll still, we're not completely changing that process, but like in this case, it doesn't make sense. There's no place to associate it properly for that.
Right, and that doesn't mean that we couldn't make dungeon pieces out of existing lava rooms in game and have those be droppable.
Right, exactly. That's the point. So, yeah, we've been working on. So Lainey's actually been documenting. It was like we have a number of things you have to rotate through the projects, but she's been documenting the dungeon rooms, getting that sorted out so we can align all the naming. I guess since we're talking about it, might as well go over that again, right? The various dungeon rooms have various methodologies for naming. Some of them have a meter size, a grid size, by a grid size. Some don't have any grid sizes in names. Some of the names are actually absolutely just incorrect. So we're going through and we're aligning all that stuff. So when we get all the documentation done, we will basically go in 1 month and then start renaming everything and getting it all aligned. And of course, this will also help me document where all the bugs are and everything, so I can sweep through any rooms I haven't touched yet, and get rid of any critical bugs, and get rid of all the bugs eventually through the whole thing. But along with that, we've also established standards on what the criteria is for rooms that would be craftable versus bought in the store, and the ones that would be loot drops, and things like that. So as we get closer to completing that project, it'll become more obvious as to what we're doing, and we'll talk about the structures more in detail at that point once they're solidified. Okay, so am I missing any chat? Sounds like not. So that's good. All right.
Just some discussion about having a chocolate pool. I'm not sure what kind of fish you would get out of that, though.
That sounds so gross. Some Willy Wonka.
You don't get fish. You get diabetes.
Gross.
Yeah. Yeah, if we did that, we could set it up where if you bring your pet in it, but chocolate is poisonous to pets, so that would not be a good thing.
Well,
No.
Or you get, a random monster Augustus glump that comes roaring out of the water to try to drag you in with it.
Hmm.
You can drag your water elemental through it to make hot chocolate.
That's right. Well, and the water elemental would have to be called Augustus glump. I mean,
Okay, so let's see here. Going back to my little list of topics. So that's pretty much everything for the updates on the dungeon work. Lots of going. Well, I shouldn't say dungeon work. That's the player dungeon work. And then, as I mentioned before, the Lord of the Isle. Not only, I mean, it needs to be done, but not only there were some outstanding issues that I had, bugs that needed to be fixed, things like that. But of course, my skills, my world building skills have actually expanded since then. So this will definitely be of a benefit. Way overdue. It's understood, and my apologies for that. But we'll get that done and out of the way, so that way all the Lord of the Isle pledges get their rooms, and then we'll be following up with that's the last reward that that we are actually responsible for, that hasn't been proffered for delivery. So anything else that's outstanding, I believe, is somebody else's responsibility. So they would need to be contacted to figure that out. But nonetheless, okay, so we are pretty much at the top of the hour, so I'm going to go ahead and start a prizing, and I'll give you 3 minutes to do your extra boost of phrase shouting or website purchasing, and then we'll go ahead and do the drawings. Okay, yeah, so the next topic is Birch Island, which I've talked about in a little bit more detail on our Scottie and I did a dev work stream a few weeks ago, and I saw, I didn't see who said that. Oh, I think it was Inifet who said that they really loved that stream. I mean, that was 5.5 hours.
Oh my god! And I still didn't finish. I finished since that stream all the fixes. I was only halfway done. I mean, I was literally only halfway done. Yeah. When you all saw that 5 hours, I mean, it takes time.
Yep. But the 5 hours, to be honest with you, flew by. I mean, we were working and we were talking, and whether you guys are here or not, we're still doing those same conversations. Almost all of those same conversations probably would have happened while we were working anyway. So
that's the way it goes.
Yeah. But so anyway, with all that said, towards the end, I was talking about the mystery of Oak Island, or right now there's a thing on History Channel for the Curse of Oak Island. If anybody doesn't know the story, just go ahead and Google that. I don't want to take up extra time to go over all that stuff again, but basically, we are putting in on Novia. there is an island in the northeast corner of the map that was not being used, so we're going to redub that Birch Island. And since there are no birch trees on Novia, I'm putting birch trees on that island, so that way it'll be unique in that way. That island will have 3 scenes or 3 zones on it. I'm trying to get away from saying scenes. So, 3 zones on it. One zone will be where the money pit is. And again, the money pit is the real life Oak Island thing. So the money pit will be in the appropriate section of the island, and that will be the finished version of the eighth level of Hell dungeon that we demoed during the anniversary event that we had in December. So that in that dungeon is nowhere near done. There's a lot more stuff that I want to put into it, and that dungeon is intended to be more like a traditional Ultima dungeon, where it starts easy at level 1, and then gets harder and harder and harder until you get to the 8th level at the bottom, where it's going to be insanely difficult. So that way any player can go in there and start playing it, and you could gauge yourself where you need to stop. So that type of thing. Yeah, death. Exactly. Death. Lots of death. So that'll be the first dungeon on there. The second dungeon on Oak Island in real world, they had found a well over. I want to say, I think it's like opposite of Lot 5, but anyway, it's on the other side of the island, but on the same southern coast, I think. And it's literally in real life. It's just like a well. There's obviously there's field stone that's in a circle, and it goes down. And they tested that well, and they came up with silver in the water. So they think that there might, and for whatever reason, they still haven't dug there, but they think that there might be some silver down underneath that well. So in our game, there will be a dungeon called the Well there, and then of course on this overworld there'll be a well entrance, and when you go in, it'll be a natural cavern, natural cave system, which will have as all wells do, have some kind of a stream or a water table. So in this case, you'd be dipping your bucket into the water that's at the bottom of these tunnels. So there'll be like a little stream of water at least around the entrance area. That dungeon is actually bringing back something that was in the game pre-persistence and was eliminated from the game. So I will be reinserting that and updating it to obviously bring it up to current standards and tech and everything. The expectation, no promises, but the expectation is that we will have new monsters, new mobs in there, again, maybe a mob that was in the game but gone now, and so that'll probably come back. But then there's other new mobs that I may be adding into the game. So long term, we're definitely doing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of new tech, new locations, new lore being added into the game, we'll talk about that more towards the end of the year. But Birch Island is the first foray into this. The third zone on Birch Island there'll be a house on the overworld, and this is actually Nolan's house in real life, who passed away. I forget what his first name was, but I want to say Don or something, Nolan. But anyway, that guy he discovered some stuff on the island, and there's some what do you call those things? Landmarks. Yeah, there's some landmarks on the island in the real world that were named after him and things like that. So we're going to try to put all that stuff into the game as much as we can. So the third zone will literally be that you go in and you'll be at his house. So it'll be a little mini village. It won't be like a whole town or anything, but you'll have his house there, and there'll be some NPCs to interact with, and merchants and such. And then from there, you'll be able to walk the entire island. At least that's my goal. And which a number of the landmarks will be present in there to complete the homage to Oak Island in our real world, the mystery of Oak Island. So that's that in a nutshell is what I'm trying to do now. That's going to take a while to get done, but I will basically be doing one zone, one dungeon at a time. The zone itself of the island will be the last thing I do. I'm really excited about this. This is going to be really cool stuff. So, bear with us, but we should be seeing the well. I'm targeting the well dungeon first, even though I already had been working on the 8th level of Hell, because the 8th level of Hell, I want to add more into it. So, that's where we are with all that.
We're late for Braznings.
Oh, yep, of course we are. So, as per
We're on
usual.
time since we started late.
Yeah. All right, so this is probably going to make the cameras black, I think, but
What does?
me switching over to another tab. Oh, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. What does the stream look like right now? Because I don't have enough. See, being at Scottie's house, I don't have enough monitor space. So, yeah, see, it's like,
strangely, I make do with only one. How does that work?
Yeah, me too.
yeah, I don't know how that works. I don't know how you can manage to do that. Okay, so I'm definitely showing the wrong.
It's still sharing your screen.
Yeah, I know, but it's sharing a screen, not the camera. Hold on. Let me try this. I think I could move this all the way over here. So I had this problem when I did this by Richards too. Okay, yeah, I think I know what I need to do.
Oh, AK Night Owl 01 thanked me for doing a lot in 5 hours. You're very welcome. It was very gratifying to get that kind of work done, believe me.
And I'm with you, Elwyn. I have 2 computers on this one monitor with a KVM switch.
Wow, 4 monitors on 3 computers. Yeah, because I primarily focus on the Cintiqs that I use, the pressure sensitive monitors, and because they need to be in front of me and be able to be movable up and down, I don't often have room on the rest of my desk to put other extra monitors, and I found it kind of difficult to kind of set up extra monitors without messing up the way the Cintiq wants to function properly. Yeah, so I just kind of, over the years, just like, no, just one monitor will do.
Okay, I'm going to do this instead.
Cave wrasses. It was so weird to me.
That's a secret.
Yeah, shh.
Someone, Traveler 13 wrote about it. I didn't bring it up.
I know. I know. Is it, basically, yeah.
It is from the ancient days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Long ago.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time going, why did you call it? That's, a wrasse is a fish.
Well, here they're Corpians, so wrasses can be. Although we do actually have wrasses that are fish. We have tank fish that are green wrasse.
Oh, in the game we do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, of course, they won't be called wrasse when but yeah, that's one of the old mobs that was removed from the game for mysterious reasons, and will probably be added back in. I just need to do some testing first to make sure.
Well,
Okay.
said I should upgrade for you and get more screens for here. I'm like, the reality is there are still screens on the ground over here that are unused, I believe. They're like
Yeah, but
Dennis LeBay's old screens and other
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
There's just no room.
well, the main problem is that I'm using this laptop that doesn't have the ability to have that many monitors, so I'd have to get like a dock or something.
Oh,
But remember, I've been talking about upgrading my monitors at home. I have the 49-inch curved Samsung Neo G9 monitors stacked. I have two of them, and then I have two extra 30-inch monitors, 32s on the side. So I have four
you
monitors.
threatened putting one in here too.
Yeah, that's what I said. Basically, what I'm thinking of doing is if you say the new ones are 52 inches or 54 inches, something like that.
Good God.
So
Bigger than my TV in my living room.
so if I upgrade my monitors, I'm planning on bringing one of them and putting it here, so that way I get the space I need.
Your cameras are on the screen, but they're both just gray.
Oh, that's interesting. That is actually very interesting. Why? Oh, I know why.
Oh yeah, the one that's underneath yours, both of them, like mine and his.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
because.
Am I failing somehow?
No. What it is
Oh, there. Okay, there we are.
The OBS thing does not get. It's not happy when something is full screen covering. I could drag it off the screen, but if I maximize any window on that monitor, and again, this is why I need multiple monitors, because the cameras at home, I put them off on the side monitor over here. Well, actually, no, I do it over here nowadays. So that's why when we're having conversations, people tend to see me looking off to the side. But if I just try to do it in this stuff, it ends up getting in the way. It's just too many things I have to do.
Mm.
Like doing the pricing is just, it's another window that I have to bring up.
I could have hit the script button.
Well, yeah, you could have, but it wasn't brought up, so I assumed that I was going to do it. Yeah, so I'm in there anyway. So it's, why am I seeing? Oh, okay, I see. Now I know what you mean. Okay. All right, running the pricing. It is running. So you can stop hounding me about it. Okay, so again, didn't do all the. As I said at the very beginning of the stream, we were already behind by a day because the infrastructure stuff where something failed. So I went down there and fixed that, and of course I've been working to get some more permanent solutions and update things so that they're not on older hardware to eliminate the risk of actual hardware failure going forward. So this reduces the amount of time that I have to prep for live streams and such by a lot. So that's why the live stream got delayed and then got delayed again. So, and here we are.
Luckily,
Yeah.
here we are.
Yep. All right, and we are
And
actually.
he also had to do a lot of my job last month because I lost about 3 weeks to COVID brain fog.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right. You got COVID. I'm so sorry.
yeah, that.
I felt fine. I just didn't do anything productive.
What a pain in the butt, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and the sense of smell was the big clue.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So we're actually at the point now, apart from me doing the prize drawing, where if you want to show what you're doing,
Oh, certainly.
then you could share your screen. I will maximize the camera here.
Oh, yes. Well, then, here, hold on a second. I will. Do just that because I'm at a good show point. Let's see.
Yep. So as you guys know, periodically, and that is the official word, periodically. We put together a set of ultra rare items that will be bundled with Kodo packs. So the 10,750 Kodo pack will have an item with it, and then the 6,300 Kodo pack will have another item bundled with it. That's the concept. So
I'm gonna start sharing now.
Go ahead. So Scottie is working on that stuff because July is definitely a month that we have some thematic purpose, I guess we would say.
Yes.
And I will see. Can I do that? Oh, well, that's dumb. All right, it's that way, and now I can stretch this more and get you. So we don't need to see us while we're doing that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there we go. So, do you want to explain or?
Sure.
Go
Can
for
you
it.
all see this now? So yeah, so if you all can see this object on my screen, I had an idea that I wanted to kind of create something that, though I'd seen some things kind of like it, I hadn't really seen something yet purveying aspects of sort of like, the kind of standard bearers that used to kind of like bring like standards onto the battlefield or whatever, and then set them up, or standards like sitting in front of like the old, like the Roman Senate, or in front of the, holding up heraldry in front of like a king's court or whatever. And so I wanted to kind of create something, and we had a couple different hanging banner kind of things in different forms. We hadn't had any. We had some heraldry banners, for instance. I think that I based some of this stuff on, or at least from a texture mapping standpoint. But I wanted to create like the kind of battlefield or court banner that had not just the hanging banner and the standard, but also the symbol made out of metal or painted, painted wood and metal frame or whatever, that would rest at the top of the pole up above the banner itself. And so here in this particular case, I created one that is for Lord British, and showing his heraldry, and in honor of kind of him, and there will be a wall banner one that kind of sticks out from the wall like a. In fact, I'll unhide that as well. Let me hide this one. Let's see. There we go. And let me unhide by name. And there we go. Yeah. So this kind of thing as well. So it can stick out of a wall. And the cool thing about these is I wanted to make sure that they had just a little bit of animation, just to show that it's kind of restless in breezes. Like if you're walking by it, your own body might make enough of a subtle breeze to kind of make them flutter just a little bit. And so they'll flutter all the time as if there's like breezes inside or outside. And so you can put them up in your house. You can line halls with them, above, hanging above seating, or for those of you all with mansions big enough. So that kind of stuff. And it's possible, I think you could even because they can build little stacks of building blocks outside to create kind of like an outdoor open air hall or something if they wanted to.
Yep.
And these could go up on the side of those as well. And eventually we may make it to where there's more and more of these that could be done. We were talking about it the other night, and they're kind of talking about it akin to the idea of, you can put your banners and flags up on your own house. Although I didn't want it at that weird, awkward 45-degree angle or 30-degree angle or whatever. So just sticking out sideways and then being able to, just slightly move nicely is kind of what I was kind of wanting to achieve with all these. And, you can see they're fairly simple geometry. They're made just enough to where they can flutter, subdivided enough to where they have, enough nice visual detail. And then, so I've been making a bunch of these. Let me see. I've also made one that is for chaos. Let's see. And so you can kind of see, here's the freestanding chaos one. And since I already kind of played with some of the geometry that went into some of the other chaos items, I figured I would use that as the standard as well, because it's nice and it has that kind of you can't tell from this because it's green, because it's some weird texture mapping stuff that we have to do to make it silver, changing the metal to silver. it has that nice thing up there, and then the chaos symbol. And then, likewise, I'm working right now on doing one that is... and by the way, I discovered, Stephen, that having them as groups and exporting them does not change or create problems at all with the rotation point. So that's not...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you told me what the real solution was.
Yeah. So that luckily that's nice, because it means I can leave them as groups in here without worrying about it if people want to just open the groups and fix it. So for instance, now, and one as well with the principles. And at this point, I'm right in the middle of working on the standing banner for the 3 principles. And by the way, I mentioned it before, but the reason why I wanted to play with principles and chaos is that they are largely underrepresented, oddly enough. I mean, we have shrines for all kinds of things, but there are no chaos or shrines for the 3 principles. And there are very few other things for the principles as well. I think there's only one book in the game that is a book about the 3 principles. Cover. And that's it. Yeah. So having cool banners about the principles, because the principles are the foundations for all the virtues. And even though a lot of people look at the virtues and the principles as being quote unquote good, and they look at chaos as being bad, within the kind of spindle of the concept of the fiction of the world, those are neutral constructs. So chaos is neutral because it represents free will, and the principles represent order to some extent, right? In a way. So chaos and the principles are actually they rotate around the spindle of sort of animus. It makes all things function and work. And the more and more you give free will to chaos, the more and more it becomes ethical, right? Because you have the construct of free will kind of goes all the way up to the top. The more you take away free will from chaos, the more wicked and cruel and domineering it becomes, and so that becomes a dominion. So the same thing applies to the principles, except as opposed to free will with the principles, it's although that applies as well too. You have the construct of the principles pertaining to what is it? Not free will. That's not the right term. But essentially, you go one way with it, and you are beginning to use the principles to domineer others, and that becomes wicked. That becomes cruel and evil. And if you go the other way, then you're headed toward ethos, which is good. It's goodness. So that's why I wanted to kind of put these forth, because a lot of people play the game, and they love chaos, but they don't want to be seen as evil, and there's a reason why. It's not meant to be evil. And likewise with you can see this right here, with the principles, it's not really meant to be good. It's just one aspect of how to kind of move through the animus of the world, right? So here you have those same things right here on these walls, on the wall, and then I'm going to go into the game real quickly, and we can actually look at them moving a little bit in comparison to other things that move. You can see that on the screen right here I have a pennant that is a kind of a simple white pennant that's up on one of the flagpoles there. And of course, pennants that are meant to hang sideways are made of super light cloth, like silk or something like that, so they catch the wind really, really easily. Whereas heraldic pennants that are hanging from banners are meant to hang and not necessarily flop around as much in the wind, because they're portraying the heraldry on it and the standard, essentially. And so those have like thicker looking edges to them that are sewn thickly, and those things are meant to kind of just slowly swing. They're not really meant to flutter around like the pennants do, which are made of silk or whatever. So, but you can see here I'll go ahead and maximize so you can kind of get the whole screen going on. So you can see here that these things are like kind of just slowly kind of swing on the wind. They have some ripples going on in them, so they're not completely, bare flat even. And they're even mapped here. I'll go ahead and they're even mapped such that when they take light from this side too, the symbols aren't necessarily backwards. So that's still forward. You're not seeing like a reverse version. You're seeing the proper version on each side of these things, which is nice.
I think someone may be comparing your yard sale there to your messy room.
Oh, yeah, yes. Yeah, this is definitely my workspace. Anytime I touch some art or make art, I lay it all out in here so that I'm reminded of things that I did well or correctly or poorly even, so that I can kind of compare and contrast against my own work and easily pick from the functionality of things that I've already done and be able to rig up new objects. So, for instance, in this particular case, after looking at this banner and realizing that motion was just way too much for something that was meant to be kind of thick and hanging from a pole, it would be ridiculous that they were like so light and fluffy that you couldn't even hang them up and be able to appreciate what was hanging on them. I realized that utilizing at least part of the functionality of this sign was probably the way to go, because the sign, like many of the other hanging signs, is meant to be very delicately affected by like wind currents and things like that. Very subtle, but enough to kind of give you more of a sense of a living world. However, unlike these signs, which you can actually click on and make and push, I didn't want the cloth to look like that, because it's not a rigid object like the sign is, like you're tapping a sign with your hand while you're running by on the street. So, and likewise, I didn't want people running through these things either, because we wanted them to be able to kind of not break the illusion of the fact that there's something real and you just kind of phase through them. But likewise, they also needed some collision so that you wouldn't easily be able to stick them on the wall in a place where they're also breaking the illusion of reality by just phasing into some object that you already have placed on the wall or that's already there from something else. So they needed proper collision and they needed proper placement. But now these things exist, and now these things exist. And again, here's me like throwing stuff on the ground. There's that weird like baked cookie of a shield, which is just so odd. It just looks so strange, and I guess it's the normal maps that we're doing it. I haven't.
That's the gold version.
Yeah, that's the gold version. I haven't upgraded to the fixes or anything that Steven's made yet. Here is the only place in the game that I found that this is a mouse and a camel copy that was used to turn around and create the asset that became the principles. So I'm going to have to be making a whole new standard object, a symbolic object for the top of that. So eventually, this one right here will be turned into the three principles like you see here, and it will get its own special cutout thing on top to kind of showcase it. And that is going to be the very next thing I have to do, because I have to kind of make that real quickly and punch that out of some polygon sheets and kind of turn it into a 3D object like the chaos symbol is up here shining out in the sun. So, which is odd because it's raining here, so I'm not sure. The sun's the sun is out right beyond the edge of the clouds, storm clouds. That's nice.
Yeah, that's as dark as it gets for that level of rain.
Oh, I see. This is a light storm. Yeah. But yeah, so you can see even these banners will just, little air currents will affect them, but it won't be so ridiculous like the pennant up there that you can see behind them that you wouldn't be able to hang them inside and wonder where the spring wind is coming from, who left the window open.
But even this little bit of motion is computationally expensive, and that's why this goes on special limited edition objects and not generally stuff that you can get in the store. I'm kind of surprised that you put it on the pennants that we put in.
Right. Well, and this pennant right here, is using something that was we were able to make for like Xenos a long time ago. But yeah, you can notice like what she's saying, like over here, this banner right here, it doesn't get to move. And this is the kind of banner meant to go right up against a wall too, so it wouldn't have the ability to like really be out in any wind currents. These sort of would, because they're freestanding, and these would because they're sticking out sideways. But likewise, you go over here to the pirate flag, and just like she says, there doesn't. I have it like intersecting the open thing, but in this particular case, it doesn't get to move either. You know, so none of the flags that would normally be stuck up on standards gets to move. No, this isn't meant to be a special case one either. So nope, no movement. All that stuff is expensive. Glowing is expensive. Spinning on the shields is expensive. The special effects get to be expensive. So we have to be cautious about what we spread the goodness around to once we make things available to players. But what you can see here, by the way, is you can see back here, to move on from the little pennant stuff that I was working on, here are the final fixed versions. And we went through and did a lot to make sure that these things had all the I's were dotted and all the T's were crossed, and they look good when you back up from them and move away from a distance. Steven still has a few little things he wants to work on to kind of crystallize the perfection of the LODs that are going to get some love.
Yeah, literally, I think it's just one thing. In fact, you could show it. I don't mind.
Let me see if I can.
It's going to be an easy fix.
Here, I'll walk backwards from it and see.
Yeah, so if you look at the windows specifically, as he goes back, eventually they will turn black.
There
right
you go.
there.
Right there.
Yep.
They turn black.
So now go up to one of the houses and open the door and then do that.
Oh yeah, here we'll do it.
Yeah.
Do the same thing to the sucker right
Yep.
now.
And this is I put the black squares behind the windows and I didn't think about the door. But this is good because it'll show you what we're doing to increase performance.
Because you want that interior to go away.
Yeah, exactly. So what's going to happen is when they pop black, the door now. Yeah, so I don't know if you could. Yeah, see.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at the hinterlands beyond the house because
Right.
it's just hollow.
Yeah. So basically, what happens is this is the distance away from the house that everything inside the house disappears. Boop. Just completely, totally disappears.
Looks like there's a window down below too. Maybe did that get a black thing? Maybe not.
Well, it might be too far away, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replace all the black thing with one big sheet of black. And that'll just solve the whole problem. I don't even know why I didn't do that in the first place. I really should have. So anyway, that's the only bug that I've found with these, and actually it's educational based on what we got. It's a very specific situation that would show that. Showing it on stream and saying this is what that is, I can fix that in 5 seconds. So it'll be fixed by this release. But it shows what we're accomplishing there.
Yes.
And
so next on my agenda would be this one.
Yeah.
Because it's the same mesh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming I'm going to look at it very closely to make sure I'm not making a mistake. But if it's the same mesh, then I can utilize these fixed meshes to fix these.
Exactly. It's just a different stone and a different roofing material and things like that. And I believe that the floor plan is exactly the same.
And then if that's the case, I can then use the fixed stuff as the basis to take this and then turn it into a different kind of house, maybe with thatch roof or a different kind of treatment for the wall paneling, that kind of thing. Because I want to do something fun. I haven't done something special and creative on that large scale in a bit. There's been a lot of handling smaller stuff. But you can see how I've already begun placing out other houses as because I'm going to try to work through these slowly one by one until all the fixes get done.
Yep. And we're going to start interspersing once we get the first set of row houses out there and do the new houses. We'll intersperse other sizes like some village lot sizes too. But once it's just like anything else. Once you get into the groove of things, So we just did he did the first set of row houses, and it'll even be more encouraging that the second set is in theory, is just gonna be texture changes to repair, right? And it's not new, but to repair, and then so that allows us to start moving more quickly through all the row houses because now we know what to expect. You know what the structural issues are because even if they're different meshes and things that still need to be touched separately from what we've already fixed, there's likely to be common issues.
Oh yeah.
and, common types of stuff where it's like, oh yeah, he did it here too. So fix that, and of course that'll allow for a bigger palette of corrected meshes to modify and make new stuff with much more ease. Therefore, speed will increase over time.
And believe me, when we're doing fixes like this, it gets down into some nitty gritty. It's levels where we realize that we have to come to an understanding about how things as simple as, well, when I say simple, as behind the scenes as our lighting model is, right? Because that was one of the things that, see these two little buckets here? These buckets are a very simple little thing.
Yes, I came to him and said, hey, I want to make this craftable for players, but it's doing something weird with the shadow. Can you take 5 seconds and look at the mesh and figure out what it's doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you never know what it's going to be, and so going into here, we came up with an understanding, because what was happening is at the very bottom of this, and it's hard to see it here, but at the very bottom of this, there was an issue with the shadow. It looked like there was a seam open in the side of the mesh. And it looked like light was somehow coming through and shining on the ground right here. And I'm like, well, that can't be. The mesh is just solid. It's whole. No, we begin to understand very quickly that what was happening was that the sides of the bucket, the barrel kind of style bucket, or tub, or whatever you want to call it.
I just did say I was making them craftable.
They were. That's right. They were so close together that when they got down to where the bottom was, our lighting model could not properly differentiate between the fact that the vertices were close enough to where, as far as it was concerned, it was paper thin, and it let light go through. Yeah. I had to go in and artificially. It's kind of like these things aren't necessarily real. They're more like stage props, and we have to kind of design them like stage props because they need to look good under a variety of circumstances that aren't necessarily realistic in nature. In this case, the surreality that we had to cater to was the fact that even though it was a solid item with solid welded vertices, the vertices on one side were too close together to the vertices on the other side, which meant that our lighting model got confused and could not parse the data necessary to keep that thing opaque looking, and it created a seam of light. I had to literally thicken up the distance artificially in a way that it wouldn't really exist in reality at the very bottom of these things, and then I had to raise up the bottom to make it, instead of this thick, which you can't see my fingers, to make it, instead of being as thick as my hand, I had to make it as thick as my leg, and on in all directions down at the very bottom, so that the shadow remained solid. And I had to do it in such a way that if you looked at it in the game, you wouldn't be able to easily visually tell. And we could only really fix it.
It's still visible, but it's
still
the
visible.
best that we're going to get.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's really the best that we can get for the new item being made for players, because the one that already exists in the game, that players have as well, but it's not craftable. That one is.
They don't.
Players
don't have it at all.
Oh, they don't have that?
It's world building.
Oh, it's world building. I'm sorry. Because of all the scenes that this thing has been used in world building, it has items in them already that are sitting there that if I went and fixed them all to where it would fix the shadow, then suddenly items would be halfway sunk down into the leg thick bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
So I can't really go back and fix those to make it work in our lighting model, because it would mess up all the scenes where they've been used. Right. So that's the kind of thing that we end up having to do, and I have to make these decisions on a daily basis whenever I go in and start doing work like this, because we don't know until we try to figure it out. But yeah, you can see even here you can see the kind of difference between kind of what one is and what the other is. And if you look very closely, you can see where one is thicker than the other. And that's just how we have to test this stuff. And this applies, if you can imagine, that's just for one little barrel with one little side. Imagine we have to apply that to everything we build when it comes to these kind of structures, because we're looking at light going through windows, light passing around the edges of shutters. What is light doing at the bottom of that door? What is the
light coming out the back of a stove?
light coming out of the back of the stove? How does it pierce through a house? Yeah, sometimes sadly it does because lighting models aren't perfect.
So, got two things I want to interject here. One is that we have the prizes that we were supposed to give out about 40 minutes ago, and of course also means that we're coming up on the next prize drawing.
And here, I'll stop sharing so we can kind of do other stuff.
Well, no, you're fine. You're fine. I just needed to verbally get in there, and,
Oh, sure.
and there's a second item too. And I probably screw up this name, but Avira said, "Hold my rum. What's the chaos stand-in torch that we can see? Old time? I'm not sure
What,
what
this thing
that
right
meant,
here?
but no. I don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing on the screen." So
That still needs some work too.
yeah. So basically there are items that that we're making now. We've discussed and decided that we can and need to shift our manufacturing process and basically start creating items ahead of time.
In advance.
So, because, for instance, if we ever do telethons of the style that was done by the previous administration or company, I do not want in any situation at all to be saying, okay, on the fly, we're going to come up with a turtle that has elephants on top of it, and a confectionery platter on top of that. Yeah, that's what we'll do, and then it take us 3 months to make it for you. Because we met the goal of that level of funding or whatever. We're gonna have the stuff made ahead of time, and what I'm talking about right now is not specifically for telethons, but any of our items that we're working on. So we have, like that brazier that you saw on there is actually meant for a future thing. Then even the standards that you've seen today, not all of them may be appearing at the end of the month. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that we're trying to go in there and say when we do a thing, we're trying to make variations and stuff on it, so that way we can start pre-populating our schedule out ahead for login rewards, sub rewards, ultra rare rewards, and stuff like that. So basically, you're going to see stuff in here that's not in game and may not be in game for a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's our goal is to pretty much be able to get to 12 months ahead of schedule on that long term. I do not know if we'll make it to 12 months ahead. But
And
if we
sometimes
could,
this is easy to do. For instance, I just put in the yellow tulip clusters that I made. It's not that hard to change the color and give you more tulips of other colors.
yeah, exactly. So we could spread that out and do. And we actually just had a really good team meeting that lasted 3 hours, and we talked about items and ideas and stuff and models and things that we want to do, and a bunch of them were actually for future months based on seasonal type stuff and everything. So that's where we are now. We're trying to not only keep up with what we're supposed to do on a month-to-month basis, our commitments to the subscribers, to make sure that they get the sub rewards, and of course all players adding more interesting things into the game, but if we do that and sprinkle in stuff that we make and set aside and say, okay, good, this is for October, this is for next March, this is for that type of thing, then we'll be in better shape, because then we won't be under the gun every month. And eventually, if we keep doing that, then everything that we'll be doing this month will be for 3 or 4 months from now. So that's the goal on that stuff. Okay, so, oh, and you're most welcome. Yeah. All right, so let me very
No
much.
squirrels.
Always squirrel. Everything is squirrels are the best.
That's September. Back to squirrel.
Yep, back to squirrel. Okay, so let's read off some prizes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who wants to do what here?
Oh God. Here, let me find the
Actually,
thing.
these games seem pretty easily doable this time.
Yep. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Yeah. Nice.
Do you want me to do names, or do you want me to do prizes, or do you want me to stand out and let you guys do them this time?
Whichever, whatever. I'll just start reading a prize, and somebody else kick in with the name.
Oh, God.
Our first prize is an Octagon beach umbrella.
That goes to Sage Rain, as well as Magnus Mugwort.
Oh, and we have a wooden garden bench. This is the one that just went into the store.
That's going to Ukulele and Prairie Fairy.
There you go. Pretty cool.
Excellent.
And then an old favorite, Flaming Bagpipes.
That will go to Cecil Copperwings, as well as Dabs-a-Lot.
And we have a Jaguar Cub Deco Pet. So cute.
That's going to Crossfire Bugzeye, who will need to keep it out of his library, and Delane Lachlan.
And finally, the grand prize of the cycle is a 2-story barn home. It's a village-sized home.
And that goes to Zach Zaras and Prairie Fairy.
Yay!
Yay!
Congratulations to all the winners. And if you have not yet, please put your phrase into the game. Any chat will do. Universe or Whispers or Zone Chat, whatever, doesn't matter. Swooning June. We'll be doing another drawing in about 15 minutes. And keep in mind, you could support the game and spend a couple of dollars to get some extra bank slots or extra character slots or some extra kodos on the website, and that will also enter you into the drawing. Okay, so that's about where we are actually. So I think we'll be able to wrap up at 8 o'clock. So when we do the drawing, that'll pretty much be the end of the stream.
Oh.
So yeah. So if there's any other, I think we're pretty much caught up on Ask-A-Devs and everything. So if there's any questions, obviously you guys can go ahead and give us an ask there. We definitely have a lot of stuff going on. And the game is going in a good direction. As I said before, new players are coming in. In fact, old players are coming back as well here and there. So be nice to everybody, so that way everybody feels safe and would like to spend more time in the game. So obviously that benefits all of us. I definitely will say that. We want to do some marketing and everything, but of course we need to do fundraising to get that. We need more money to come in. So the more subscriptions we have, the better off we'll be. It pays for the salary for the folks who are developing the game, keeps the lights on, and the marketing. So we're definitely not rolling in the money here, but we definitely have enough to keep the game going. So the game is not going anywhere. And the fact that we see more people staying is telling us that we are definitely making a positive impact. So we're happy with that, and thank you very much for spending your time in our world.
Oh yeah, it's really great for us to hear about the appreciation and the folks who are enjoying some of the new stuff coming out and discovering a lot of the old stuff that is kind of been back in the background for a while, but we're all very proud of having worked on it for so long, so many years.
Right.
So who?
Stymie has a Stymie has a question about our last 2 releases being on Fridays. Do we want to change release day?
Yeah, actually, I do want to change release day, but no, not to the last Friday of the month. What I want to change release day to is the last Monday of the month. assuming that well, there's a multiple layer thing here. So first off, why was the release on Friday for the last 2 months? Well, that's because infrastructure. I've actually over the last 2 months, I've come down to Austin a total of 6 times, and I've only scheduled one trip per month. So in fact, it might have been 7 times. I think it was 7. One of them, I literally came down here, hit a button, and then turned around and went back home.
Oh god!
So it was a 7-hour drive, but nonetheless, the hardware's getting older, and we have been, and we've talked about this for a while now. Even back when Chris was still involved with the project, we were talking about shifting things with servers, buying new hardware, and stuff along those lines, and. Some of it occurred back then, but then some of it had to be put on hold. So I have a hardware that's sitting on my table behind me in my house. That's the mess in my house that needs to be completed, and that server is technically powerful enough to run the entire operation if we virtualized all the stuff. What the long-term plan is to have 2, possibly 3 of those machines. And then evenly divide up the virtualization between the 3 machines, so we have redundancy and expansion room along those lines. So basically, what I've been fighting for the last 2 months is the fact that we're coming to that mean time to failure problem. So we have I actually replaced the game server last month. Well, when I say last month, meaning this being May, even though this is June. So in April, I replaced the game server because of a failure. And then the replacement game server actually had a dirty nick. Go ahead, Gabriel, twist that one up.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? So basically, if you have a computer and you don't use connectors on it, they'll corrode. They're not made out of they're not made out of metals that don't corrode. So whether it be gold or silver or whatever type of thing, a lot of these pins will have like a gold plating on them or whatever. I mean, they corrode, and copper corrodes as well. So a NIC is a network interface card or a network interface connection. So the LAN sockets on these machines, which there's multiple of them, when we had the spare machine that was sitting idle, that was open to the air. It didn't have a cable plugged in. Once you have a cable plugged in and it sits there, then the connections are connected. They shouldn't really corrode that much to the point where it causes a problem. But even if it does, you could unplug it, plug it back in a few times, and that scrapes the metal, and then you're okay. In this case, it looks like I wasn't sure if one of the interfaces was bad or what, so I went down there and I basically took a spray can of isopropyl alcohol, 99%. This is like hospital grade stuff, and I took the game server out of the shell. It's a passive backplane server, and basically gave it a bath, cleaned that all up, and then I scraped the connections too. And that seemed to have worked. So it's that type of thing. So it also accounts for some of our increase in power consumption. It's I forget whose law. It's somebody's law, but it's thermodynamics. Over time, electronic components, as with everything, degrades. So entropy takes in an effect.
Yeah, entropy.
And capacitors. Anybody who knows anything about electronics, even a very light level of stuff, capacitors will tend to do that. They stop working properly. Integrated chips, ICs, and anything that's on motherboards, over time the plastics and the silicon breaks down. So basically, the computer wants desperately to do its job as it was designed to do, so it starts sucking more power, more amperage, more current. And so over time, you could have something that was designed to just draw an amp, literally start drawing 2 amps. And we're having that type of a problem right now. And obviously, some of those things are going to be power supplies that you can swap out power supplies, but the machines are so old that it's time to start swapping those out. So anyway,
Can I make a small interruption on an unrelated subject?
sure.
Simon Says Die, we saw your Ask-A-Dev. I'm going to have to poke out a little bit more. I couldn't figure it out before the stream started.
Gotcha. So anyway, with all that said, that's the reason why it was delayed to Friday for the last couple of months is because I literally spent more time down in Austin than I intended to. Although my time in Austin is always a pleasure, especially when I stay by Scottie. But when I have to go down to Austin for a literal 24-hour round trip to spray alcohol on a machine because its connections were dirty, caused me to not be on time for doing builds and stuff for the release. So it literally shifted off by one day, and a similar thing happened on the previous month as well. Previous month wasn't directly hardware or data center trips. I spent too much time trying to migrate some stuff in the data center off, and then when it came down to getting things that I needed to get done for the release, building items and things, it was literally last minute. So to make sure that we were able to do our QA testing on those items, I delayed release by a day, so that way we weren't just throwing them blind into the game, because we know that's happened in the past, and we don't do that anymore. That's that's again previous administrations. So nothing goes directly to the server. Everything has to be touched by the dev team before it goes live, whether it go onto the QA server for us to look at, or go on the QA server where hopefully we get back to the point where we can schedule things and be ahead enough to be able to say, okay, testing directive, have the players come in and test this on QA too. So, again, before that question gets asked, yes, I'm aware that we're not really updating QA as often as we used to. But again, we're doing a lot more. We really are. Same bodies, same number of people working on the team, but we're really trying to double time a lot of the stuff, like I said before, with the items to pre-populate some things. And then, of course, bigger things are also being worked on, like some new zones, dungeons, and things along those lines. So there's bigger content, more complex content. So now that's part A, or part one of that question. Part two is, do I want to shift the day? Yes. I don't want to make it the last Friday of the month. Not to go into too much detail, because I think a lot of this is going to be really common sense when it comes to a game, or a live game like this, a service game as it's really technically called. You don't want to be doing your updates as you're going into your busy time. This is the same with anything, right? If you work for a company, depending on what the company is, if it's a bank, they're always going to do their upgrades and maintenance work on the weekend, even though it still pisses off the people who use the web interface to pay their bills or whatever, right? So if you work in an industry that does its primary business on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, then obviously it makes more logical sense to do your intrusive work Monday through Thursday. Why Portalarium, the original company, chose to use Thursday as its deployment day, I am not sure. Granted, they gave them Friday to fix any critical stuff. But it didn't really give them enough span of time for, the live stream would be the next day. The same people were involved in that. It just became like a rushing situation. So I want to follow the same thing we did over at Elder Scrolls Online. On that project, it was determined the best thing to do, which, if you think about it, any MMO really should be doing its patching on Mondays. In fact, Monday, not at the crack of dawn either. We could, although Allie and I stay up all night, so whatever. But basically, if we took the game down at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. on a Monday morning, we will impact a hell of a lot less people than if we take it down on Thursday and we have a problem. So Monday would give us more time to fix things without having a high volume of usage on the server. So my long-term intention, my hope, which is harder to do when I'm pushing the release out to Friday, then that makes it harder to pull it back a week, back to Monday. But that's where I want to head. So maybe one month where the days align properly, I'll push it out. Instead of the Thursday, push it over the weekend to a Monday, and then that way we could do Monday to Monday from then on. But I don't know. I haven't really figured that out. Is what I want to do. I really wanted to get to the point. Well, I need to get to the point where the data center hardware is fixed, adjusted, upgraded, and migrated, and all that stuff. And then that way, I could then start paying a lot more attention to pre-populating stuff in the game. So there's even this second part of this answer to this, what should have been a very simple question, is the fact that part 2 is split into 2 pieces. One, I want to have the release on a Monday, so that way it's less impactful and gives us more time to recover from any issues. The second part is I don't want to be doing monthly releases anymore. I think that was heroic, actually. I'm going to use that word. Heroic of Portalarium and then Catnip to continue doing monthly releases with bug fixes and content every month for 138 months now. So we're in the 11 years of continuously updating the game every single month. Granted, it's not always exactly on that, the last Thursday of the month as it's supposed to be. It slides a day here and there, and sometimes we even did it a day early, based on like if when Chris was doing deployment, if he was going to go on a trip or something, we would shift it around. But invariably, every calendar month there was an update to this game. Or has been, and still is, and we're still doing it. It's not like there's a problem or we don't have things to do or anything along those lines. We still have content that we could put in, but the amount of stress that it puts on the team, even Portalarium had 30 some odd devs working on the game, and that was actually part of the reason why there were so many bugs in the game back then, is that they ran around like chickens without heads trying to make sure that they were, the minute a release went out, they were already starting to prepare for the next release's deployment. So how could you really go in there and having somewhere between 8 and 12 days of development time per month? It's ridiculous. And, then the pressure comes on based on what the cycle that they were doing with the telethons and needing more and more items and things like that. People had to do double duty. Let's take Barrick, for instance. He wore like 4 hats when community management is a full-time job. He should have been doing community management and marketing, and that's it. And he ended up having to do other things because everybody was picking up slack from something else because of the promises that were being made.
Right.
So, and really, they needed a team of 100 people to do what they were doing, which, by the way, is the average size of a team for a game that's actually in active development. So, it's
I'm gonna hit the rising button.
Yeah, okay, go for it. Sorry. So bottom line is that team was already small. Then after the transition from Portalarium to Catnip, the team shrank down again. And of course, it was the core, basically the department heads were the ones who were left, or something along those lines, on average. And then, since then, we've obviously had to recalibrate as well. And the team is, smaller than that. We're short a few head. And I've been interviewing. I've been talking to some people about some things. We still want to increase the income, obviously, so that we could actually pay people what they really should be making. I'm working. I got an intern that I'm working with for the summer, who's going to help me with some of the more menial stuff, and then I also have some other roles that I'm talking to as well to see what I could do with that, maybe part-time or contract type of stuff to get them in here, and that will allow us to expand on the more structural things that need to be done in the game beyond what we're doing right now. And of course, I'm doing things like I said, new zones and new mobs, and we're touching on all the stuff, but it just goes slower at the size team that we're at. So with all that said, I don't need to throw more pressure on the team. I don't need to throw more pressure on myself. So what I'd like to do is literally get the release to a point where it's one release, and I do this, we'll do quotes, release per quarter, approximately, that type of thing. So I'll solidify everything, but thinking that it would be like once a quarter we would do the release where that's where the content is coming, which we're still kind of talking about that. That's where our proposed schedule is now, but without having to stop the development cycle every 12 days. So if I could get to a point where I don't have to actually build a new client patch every 30 days, every 20 some odd days, then I don't have to tell the devs to stop and that we're in lockdown. Because when I build a patch, if I build a client patch, when we come up for release, it's 7 days prior to the scheduled deployment of that release, that all work must stop. Each dev, like Scottie, he could do artwork on his machine, but he can't submit a thing. And especially if we're doing script changes or bigger things, world building or touching scenes or anything that's in the game that's already live, those things cannot be submitted. So there's a limited amount of stuff you could do before you have to wait, because for instance, I can't really use the banners that you showed as an example, but if let's say you have a new bench, all right, you make the bench. I can make the art for the bench, we make the mesh for it and everything, and there you have it. But to make it so you could sit in it, it has to go through something called integration. So it has to be submitted into the project, and then the project runs it through validation checks to make sure there's nothing wrong with it, and then it applies entity IDs. Now, I've mentioned this in months prior, because I discovered some problems with entity IDs in our player dungeons, which I could fix. But point is that you can't do any of that unless you're not in lockdown. Because once you're in lockdown, if you do that and something breaks on the server, this is where in the past, and I'm not going to name names, but the person who was running the builds before me would just not realize that something had changed in the project, that when there was a bug that was determined, so you deploy on Thursday and you say, oh geez, like just recently we forgot to turn the deeds on sale, right? So I immediately built a new patch. If somebody else was doing work and they added more entity IDs in there or something along those lines, they get dragged into the server. They literally get pulled into that patch. So that's why you have to stop during that production time while you're actually preparing and putting out a production patch. So it would benefit all of us, you guys and us, for us to stop doing monthly releases. And then basically here's the actual layout of it. And I apologize if this is too much detail. I know we have prizes to give out too, but the bottom line is that what I would do is I would target the last Monday of the month for a release once a quarter, and that would be our update release. Every Monday, this is Elder Scrolls Online does this. Every Monday, and I use this example because I worked on the project a little bit, so I'm familiar with the reasons behind all this stuff and everything, the way they do it. And I agree with it. That's the point. It's a much smaller window. So like every Monday at 8 a.m., I could literally go in there and reboot the game server and apply any back-end or minor fixes that I might want to do. So I don't have to build a whole client patch for that. Not only will that improve the server, or if we have like some improved scripting or whatever, that we could actually implement some of that stuff on the fly if we needed to, but mainly critical fixes. Not only that, but rebooting the game server every week will prevent any memory leaks that are going on. I mean, granted, every piece of software has memory leak of some kind, and of course the game server is running on software that we didn't write. The actual server itself, the networking portion of the server and everything. And then there's this thing called Windows that, of course, is completely bug free. So all these things really could use a reboot, and that's why every month I have a cycle. So the database servers get rebooted once every 3 months. Our log collection servers for itemization and stuff like that, they get rebooted every 3 months, and it's all on staggered schedules. And I developed that back just after the dark times. And if you don't know what they are, don't worry about it. And then but the game server, I reboot that every month. In fact, that April, I didn't reboot it at the end of March because I had a gut feeling, which was definitely valid, because in April the game server decided to bite it, and so I had to go down there and replace it. And I just had a feeling based on some behavior I saw that I shouldn't reboot the server, which was a good plan. Anyway, with all that said, I think you get the idea. So basically what we do is we would do a weekly maintenance period, but it would basically be an hour, if that, every Monday. Just to go in there and, kick the server, reboot it, make sure everything else is going good, apply any very minor fixes that we need on the back end, and then still at the end of the month, if there's anything that needs to be done to the client side, there would be a patch for the client. And of course, if there's ever need for a client patch, we'll do it whenever it needs to be done. But definitely, if I didn't need to apply anything, I would wait until once a quarter to actually have the downtime like we have now, which is about 2.5 hours on the last Monday of the month. That's my working theory. I worked I've done this. I mean, some very helpful people who have a daily show tend to point out that I'm an engineer, and but I started out as a game designer, and I was a software programmer and a game designer for a number of years until I shifted over and started doing custom computer builds and other things, and then ended up in IT and becoming doing engineering and stuff for all the stuff that I do. And now I'm just back to being doing what I like to do. All those years were I have a job not because I like it, but because I needed it type of thing. So anyway, with all that said, these are the types of things that I've done throughout my career, the disaster recovery planning and things along those lines. So that's why you're seeing the game being more stable now, is because I'm thinking ahead, working on the redundancies, spending some extra money on the hardware and the redundancy of the hardware, so that way we don't have outages. Sadly, obviously, our hardware is getting old that we do have, which makes it even more critical that we need to get the funding and continue to replace the hardware that we have with current stuff, so that way the mean time to failure is another 10 years away. So there you go. With all that
I
said,
was just asking if that would mean less dev streams.
oh no, absolutely not. In fact, see that's the thing, is it actually lifts the pressure. Because, like, for instance, over the last couple of months, I've been talking about how I wanted to do the work streams. Right, we successfully did the one. And actually, even when I on that day, I said, all right, well, tomorrow I'm going home, and I intended to work on that big lava pool room that you see on the screen back there and zoomed out. I actually intended to work on this and do a live stream with it. Really, like Tuesday the following week. But all the infrastructure stuff started happening, and I literally was driving back and forth between here and there in Austin. So when this type of an implementation happens with the scheduling and timing, that would allow me to be in front of the computer doing more of the development of the game, and then I could share more of that and actually do more work streams along those lines. And Alpha is asking if we could have dev streams where we go on a big raid. Definitely. I mean, we did that. I guess it was like 2 years ago. We did a stream, the anniversary stream, where we went out and we were doing some stuff as a big giant group and everything. So I wouldn't mind doing that more often. That would be a good thing.
I would have to be helped and outfitted, though, because all my characters have just been so I could run around and look at art and talk to people. I've never, ever designed a character so that I built, him up into this warrior, slash privateer or anything. So it would be crazy. I would be the biggest, weakest noob out there if I were to attempt to go inside and do a raid with anyone.
Yep. And hey, look, I may work on the game. I may run the game, as it were, but it doesn't mean that I'm an expert in all areas of the game. Nobody needs to be. Nobody should be. I might be a little bit better off than Scottie is, but I'm definitely, I'm no Uber Uber player either. So, yeah, no, that definitely sounds like a good idea. Mostly, in effect, said they'd keep us alive, mostly, or keep you alive, I guess. Yeah.
I actually used to go out fighting things.
Yeah,
Nowadays, I'm just going to check my crops.
Yep.
I made it so hard to get those royal elderberries and immortality fruit plants, and I only have one of each myself. My player character. So.
So I'll stop there, but you get the idea, and there's a lot more. And my intention is towards the end of the year or the very early start of next year, we'll have some more conversations, about direction and things that we have planned. So there's a bunch of stuff like the infrastructure and the data center changes they're critical, obviously, and that's the first step that I need to do. I need to get all this stuff fixed, and I say fixed, but I mean updated, upgraded, and get us out of danger of having failures. And then there's other changes and things that I want to do that are going to be beneficial for everybody. So nothing of the existing, like, don't get scared, because I know our player base gets scared. No, it's not like we're going to go in there and nerf everything or whatever. It's just saying that there's new ideas, new content, new lore. I'll lean on that one a little bit for now. And don't try to ask. I am not going to tell you. Nobody who's working on the team, or I should say anybody who is aware of what we're working on, is going to reveal a damn thing. This is going to be kept secret as so far as what's going to happen. I will tell you, it involves episode 3, 4, and 5. So there's definitely some good stuff coming, and episode 2 is still in progress, obviously, but it is in the plan to get it all finished. And the point here is that I'm not just saying, like in the past, I'll just say this, in the past, others would be like, well, we're dealing with episode 2, but they didn't even think about what's going to happen the day after episode 2. So I have everything. It's not done, but we're working on it, and I'm outlining and laying out all the stuff to go all the way through to the true end game. So anyway, stick around. It's going to be an interesting ride. It really will. As always, looking for you guys to subscribe, help support the game, allows us to add more headcount, and get more things done, get more hardware, and get ourselves back to where we should be. And then I'm seeing this is Psycho revamping, balancing all the zones. Yeah, so balancing is a long-term thing. It was pointed out back when we announced that we were going to start working on balancing that we scared a lot of people, obviously, but based on the policy of transparency that we had, we wanted to make sure people knew that we were doing something, that we're not just putting it off. So, as I said earlier in the stream, that we have a number of projects that we have to keep cycling through. So, like the dungeon documentation is being done, so that way I could effect repairs and create all the versions of the dungeon room, so we have a complete kit. So my intention is to have spawned and unspawned versions of every dungeon room for every dungeon style, I guess is the right word, right? So in other words, they all need to basically be, have all the availability. So all the dungeon stone needs to have blue marble. All those rooms need to exist, and they all need to be deco, and then a version that's all spawning. And that's a big project on its own. Then we have the LODs. Then we have and all this other stuff. So one of the data acquisition or investigation projects that we're working on right now is collecting data and everything for balancing purposes. We still are making changes as we need to if we find something that's really hard and needs to be fixed. But to do a nice smooth transition thing, because again, I'm not going to go in there and do a balancing of the game from release 145 to 146 and then say, well, guess what? The whole game's changed now, so have fun. No, we'll ease it in so that way, because we have existing players, right? And we need to make sure that happens. It's think of it like having ingredients, that have no recipes, or recipes that are missing ingredients. And if we add all that stuff in right away, for an example, then it would throw the economy off. It would people would either be too short of stuff, or they would have tons of it in their inventory, and all of a sudden it's not useful anymore. And of course, there's the mobs, the loot, the ratios of XP and damage. All that's being addressed. It's just going to take time to get done. Thank you for your question. Yeah. So not a problem. So yeah, it definitely. I mean, more trees. And this is the thing: is that if we didn't change tact, right? Changing our strategy. I am positive that you would see more trees already thrown into the game. But the last 2 trees that were thrown into the game were not pre-balanced, and they should have been. The older trees are not as bad as the newer trees are. So all this stuff has to be looked at and holistically fixed. So, which also means over time and getting it right. It's not one of those things that's a straight slanted line, right? It's a curve. So as you get towards the end of it, you'll be able to make more and more changes because the bulk of it is behind you. Anyway, these are things we'll talk about later on and outline things. The main thing right now is to get the hardware updated so that way it reduces the actual physical footprint and reduces the risk of failure due to age, and then try to beef up the funding enough that I could pay for two more head count for the team. So yes, they are, but they're right now the new law. The lava pool room, the large lava pool, is entirely deckable, and all the walls and everything is, it's an actual flat room, so that's definitely completely friendly. The grotto, there are deco surfaces in many places, but not as many as I would like. So I will be doing
you have to find a flat place in all those bumpy rocks.
Exactly right. So a lot of the stuff around the entrance has deco surface, but even with that being there, it's not perfectly flat. So if you go around with stuff, you'll see that there's spots where things turn red anyway. But I have new methodologies on that as well. So the smaller items will end up being able to be placed in more places. But the bigger items, there's not too much. When you have natural features, you don't really have too much of a choice. So. Okay, so
whereas I have many unnatural features, and that's why I'm so popular.
So I successfully brought us halfway through the next hour. So let's go ahead and do the prizes, and let's see what we got here. Okay, so screw it. I'm gonna be greedy and or selfish and just read off the things again. Octagon Beach Umbrella goes to
Elaine Lachlan.
Wooden Garden Bench goes to
Elwyn Moon.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought we were sharing again.
The flaming the flaming bag pipes. I'm hungry. I want to go eat now.
All yours.
Tutnick's mirror. I'm sorry.
The Jaguar Cub Deco Pet, which is still cute as hell, goes to...
That goes to Alustra.
And our final prize of the evening, because I'm definitely going to call it for now, otherwise I'll keep talking forever, is a 2-story barn home, which is of village size. And that goes to...
Chufu Sand. I kind of want to know where that name came from.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's a new name. I haven't seen that for... So anyway, congratulations to everyone who's won prizes. As usual, these will be delivered by Lainey as opposed to the ones that were delivered by me about 2.5 hours ago for the stream that we did last April. So yeah, when we do the dev work streams, I don't want to put that extra task on Lainey, so I did the deliveries, and of course the same reason why the releases were late. I was running around like mad and never got to deliver the stuff. So, but I vowed that I was going to deliver the prizes before the next live stream. So it just so happened it was a half an hour before the live stream.
Oh my
so
God.
That's all. Yeah. What are you gonna... So anyway, congratulations. Sorry about those delays on that. And Lainey will usually the prizes get delivered somewhere. This is the middle of the week, so I would expect that there'll be. The usual statement would be by Monday is the usual time frame. So I based on the fact I'm doing this in the middle of the week, I do not know when Lainey will be able to get those out. But it'll be soon. A lot sooner than
Irish Eyes, you can't place the flowering bushes in the lava grotto. Those poor things, they'd be baked.
Oh, yeah, there you go. All right. So anyway, I hope the stream was informative, not too boring or repetitive, and we're gonna let you guys go. Again, just keep your eyes out, stick around, and support the game if you're able to. And good things are coming. Yes, we have a lot of plans, and later on in the year we'll be able to share some stuff with you and let you know where things are going.
Mm-hmm. So. Absolutely. Hope you all had fun. and we'll keep you updated with cool stuff that we're doing as we go.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Andrew, I'll check that out. Actually, if you don't mind, send me an in-game mail. Ping me with that, and then I'll see what I missed. So, all right. Well, thanks everybody, and we will talk to you soon. Again, I won't make any promises, but if everything goes well, I said I'll be working on the dungeon rooms and the Lottie thing. I'm going to do the Lottie thing first because that's old and it needs to be done. So I will try to do some dev work streams for that and show off what I'm doing. I just need to get past this one thing with our mail server, and that way the infrastructure will be done for this month and hopefully next month. So anyway, with all that said, have a nice time guys. See you later.
Bye-bye.